Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. I am recording this intro on June 7th. We are in the middle of graduation celebration week. As soon as I finish this, I get to go eat some In-N-Out, baby. So you know what? This will be quick because nothing stands between me and food. I'm just saying. Now, today we got Jim Palmer. I've known Jim for many years, but not personally. I've known of him. I've been on his emailing list. We've corresponded on social media. He used to be known as the newsletter guy. He's still the newsletter guy, but he does a lot more, and he's expanded his business. He's got a couple of conferences he does almost twice a year. I think he says maybe about 8 months apart. I'm looking forward to about a year from now we get into it. He's going to be in San Diego, so I'm going to see him. But he's living on a boat right now. He is living his dream. He and his wife basically sold everything. We talk about how he went from revenue free when he started his business to now living on the high seas. So that's Jim Palmer. You are in for a treat with him. I've got a couple of things I want to mention, and I haven't talked in a while about the best sales secrets. It's a 21-page report I created last year covering 21 years of my time in sales. So if you need a little pick-me-up, you want some ideas on how to grow your sales, go get that. It's free, thebestsalessecrets.com. And I bought a URL not too long ago, and I've been sitting on it, kind of pondering what to do. I bought a couple of them around the dig deep concept. And, you know, there's all these extensions now, but the URL I got was digdeep.today. And I've been kind of noodling it ever since I was in Argentina, actually, a few weeks ago with my son. We were hiking. We were just, having fun, living life, sipping cappuccinos and drinking good Malbec Argentine wine. And it's not Argentinian, it's Argentine, I learned. And it rhymes with wine, so I kind of remember that. Eating some good beef. And, you think a lot when you're on the road. You get to think when you're away from the grind and the noise. That's the nice thing about retreats, right? You can get away from it all. And then we were hiking. We spent a whole day hiking. It was 9 hours. I had it on my Apple Watch. Almost exactly 9 hours. Something like 14 miles. Good grief. I was worn out. But I was just pondering, and thinking. It's like you see people that go on these great journeys and try to discover themselves. And ultimately, they're trying to just go deep, right? Dig deep. I listened to the audio version of the book Deep Work. And it's, the concept is to stop nibbling and dabbling, right? Become fanatical. Dig deeply into one thing and master it and be known for that mastery. And it seems like we just don't see that as much anymore. And those that do dig deep they're like unicorns, right? They're like wizards. So that's where the idea hit me, dig deep. And I just wrapped up a consulting call with a client of mine. She's a friend I've known for many years, since, I think 2011 we met. And she's been in my group coaching. She's been in my 90-day private coaching program. And so I've made a few changes to it. And I've redirected the URL. So digdeep.today will take you to a new landing page I've created, and just put a little more structure to this coaching program. But rather than jump right into a 90-day program, it may not be right for you. And I don't have time to bring on a bunch of one-on-one clients. And I talked about that in the last episode. But if you go to that page, you can read about it. And then we start with what I call the IPA. And yes, it's a beer, but it's also what I call the initial process assessment. That is very affordable, and you get me one-on-one. You're going to get a questionnaire. We're going to dig deep in your business, your goals. We're going to have at least one recorded call, probably a couple. It can be one with you alone. You can do another one if you've got a team member or spouse or somebody. They can be on both the calls, so whatever. So if you want to dig deep, if you're ready to dig deep today, go to Dig Deep Today. Look at the videos, the testimonials, read through the program, and start the IPA. And once you get the questionnaire back to me, we'll schedule a time for your one-on-one. And let's see what we can do about getting you on the track that you want to be in, that you deserve to be on, to get you towards the goals that you really do want to hit. All right? So check that out, digdeep.today. Now let's bring on Jim. Jim Palmer, who just set out on a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. Welcome to Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Wes, I am awesome. Thanks for having me on. The 3-hour tour, yeah, that's close. Maybe change the hour part of it, and we'll see how we do.
Well, we will explain that to everyone. I am holding your book here, Decide, The Ultimate Success Trigger, and you are also just launched Yes, or Just Say Yes, right? Create a dream business and live your dream lifestyle. And it's got a picture of, I'm going to guess, your boat. Is that correct?
That is me. That's no model. That's me driving it. Yes, that is our boat. About 4 weeks ago, I had written the book, and I was just waiting for warm weather to get some good shots for the cover. I didn't want to just put a model boat on there, you know.
Come on, that's what Photoshop is for.
Well, we did on the actual cover. We had to Photoshop the name on because I didn't have that yet. But the rest of it's all me and my boat.
You didn't have this big yes floating in the sky, like skywriting with biplanes and stuff?
You know, this is my 7th book, and every time I publicly pledge when it'll be out, and this one came right down to the wire. Literally, we were going live on the 15th of May, and on the 14th, we approved the proof copy. So everything's on schedule. It just all works out.
Hey, that's what deadlines are for, right?
That's right. If you didn't have deadlines, nothing would get done.
And if you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute to do.
There you go.
So 7 books, but now you and your wife, so before I hit record, you had mentioned, did you sell everything and jump on a boat, or did you just put everything in storage and jump on a boat?
Well, yes. We sold our home last December. We bought the boat last December, and because we were originally from Pennsylvania and our boat was in Maryland, we found a 5-month rental of 1-bedroom apartment for Stephanie, myself, and our dog Blue to live in. We rented that till April 30th. We moved on the boat April 15th. We spent 2 weeks in our home port. And then we took off, and we started heading north up to Rhode Island, where one of our daughters and 2 grandkids live. And 2 weeks later, my son, who lives in PA, drove our car up to us. We sent him home on the train. So we have our car and our boat here. And somewhere in PA, we have a storage unit with a couch, furniture, our bed, and a couple other necessities should we ever want to be dirt dwellers again.
Very nice. So the plan is to live on the boat primarily docked, or do you have like a cruising schedule?
We do. So we're going to be here through the end of September.
Oh, wow.
My next event, Dream Business Academy, just happens to be in Rhode Island. So when that's over, 2 days after that, we're leaving the slip we're in now and going back to the Chesapeake Bay for the month of October. Just to get my mechanic to look things over, get our doctors to look us over, visit family. And then in November, we're driving the boat, probably about a 4 to 6 week slow cruise down to Florida. And we're going to spend the winter down in Cocoa Beach area. And then we'll come back up to Chesapeake Bay for the summer of 2018. And after that, we have no idea what we're going to be doing.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. It's very liberating, I'll tell you that. When my son that I mentioned earlier, a couple of years ago, he got out of his apartment, sold everything except his clothes and what would fit in his car, and he took off to California. And he kept telling us, Wes, how liberated he felt not to have to own stuff and have payments other than his car and cell phone. And we kind of know what that's like now. I mean, literally, we've been on the boat about 5 weeks at this point, and our life feels simpler. It feels calmer. And it's amazing. I'm thrilled to death. I don't have to cut a lawn again or shovel a driveway again. And, I do have some maintenance on the boat. The boat is a constant something needs to be worked on, but it's I'd rather be doing this than cutting lawn any day.
Well, don't they say the two happiest days of your life is the day you buy the boat and the day you sell it?
It's true, because we bought this boat before our first boat sold. So I was carrying two boats for 3 months or 4 months. And our 2 weeks ago, our first boat got sold, and I swear I wanted to get down and kiss the dock. I was so thrilled. I'm a one boat man.
There you go. So this wasn't totally out of the norm. So you already had some boating experience.
Yeah, we've been boaters for 3 years. We had a 30-foot boat that we spent weekends on, and did little short trips. But to actually, we call it our floating home, and to have a home, we needed something big with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, nice kitchen area, and nice. I guess you call it a salon. So it has a couch, TV. I took out 2 chairs to make room for my desk because I still coach my clients. And so it's all my major chore, Wes, was making sure I always had Wi-Fi no matter where we are. And so far so good. It's definitely causing me a little bit of angst because I ran up against literally within 5 days my data limit. I said, man, this is a piece of cake. It's working. All of a sudden I got throttled back to 1990 dial-up modem.
Are you tethering through your phone?
I was tethering. Well, I did a thing. I put a whole cell phone antenna with a booster up on the radar arch. I got a little Wi-Fi thing in the salon here, but it was through our Verizon carrier, which we used all that data. So then I went and bought a T-Mobile hotspot called the Alcatel, and the marina also has Wi-Fi, so I bounce between the 3 of them. When I have an interview like this, I look for the strongest signal, and I get on that, and I turn everything else off. So we're good to go.
So you brought up something interesting. You're talking about your son, and then you and your wife. How liberating it is to not have so many attachments, right? Not have so many material things. How do we balance that? You're a business coach. You're helping entrepreneurs, helping people grow. But how do we help people grow? But do we have to change what the definition of success is? Because it seems like it's all material. But you and your son are seeing that success can be defined as freedom.
Well, I think freedom more defines it than stuff. Let's face it, as beginning entrepreneurs who are, week to week and really in cash flow mode. But when you start to grow a business and you start, generating some nice revenue, you move out of that, and suddenly you don't have to think about going out to dinner, or you don't have to think about going on a vacation. That all happens. But it's interesting, Wes, the bigger you get, and we didn't go haywire by any means, but the bigger you get, the more it seems like we just acquired stuff. And it was such an unbelievable experience packing up our house, and we gave some furniture to the kids, but we gave so many clothes to Goodwill and other charities. And first of all, there's a storage thing on the boat. We each got like 2 or 3 drawers and a very small closet. So I actually have some of my suits, because I can't get rid of all of them, because I do an event twice a year. So I took over half of a guest room closet in my daughter's house, and I have a couple suits and a couple shirts and slacks for church, and other than that, we live in jeans or shorts and T-shirts is the plan. But my big thing, Wes, is I must have had at one point probably 30 baseball hats. I love T-shirts. If I see a cool T-shirt, I was just buying it. And literally, we don't do that anymore. And it's almost like retraining our brain. My wife likes shoes and handbags, like a lot of women. And we look at stuff if we're out right now and say, well, I kind of like that, but don't have room for it, so we don't buy it. And it's that kind of thing. It's a different lifestyle. But one of the things I think about success is it does give you freedom. Obviously, we become entrepreneurs for financial freedom, but then a different kind of freedom kicks in once you stop worrying about money, and that's time freedom, being able to live life on your terms. And obviously that does take a successful business, but I know a lot of people who the term that we're called live aboard, so we live aboard our boat, but we're actually full-time cruisers, I think is a better description, because we've been to some marinas that are primarily live aboard marinas, and I think sometimes people buy boats that probably don't even run, but just to live on it, because it's just an inexpensive place to live, I guess. But So we're learning a lot about this whole lifestyle, but I'll tell you what, we've only been at it about 5 weeks. We've been actually, it's almost a year in the making, but we've been living on the boat for 5 weeks, and I can already feel myself unwinding and feeling a little less stressed. It's something about being on the water for us is really relaxing.
Now, I mean, well, people listening to this would think, hey, you're a 7-time author, you've owned your own business. They think that is the life, that is achievement, that is stress-free. But I mean, would you say you had good stress, or were you putting stress on yourself, like just to continue to grow, or how would you define the stress you had prior to this shift?
Well, first of all, I'm 16 years in the business, and the first 10 were not pleasant. I don't know, the first 8, whatever. But, I've been working at this a long time, and I did set up about a 5-year plan almost 5 or 6 years ago where I wanted to, get all my internet businesses in such a way that they could be run by a team of VAs. And so I was just growing my coaching business. But the dream lifestyle part of it for me, Wes, is I only wanted to take phone calls and work with my clients and do interviews on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so I could choose if I wanted to have a 3 or a 4-day weekend. And I've been able to do that. Now, if I wanted to coach people 4 days a week, I could probably make more money. But again, there's a certain point where I'd rather have lifestyle. And believe me, I'm not, we're not hurting per se, but you really I think it's important to define what it is that you want, what kind of lifestyle that you want. And, in our former home, we lived there 29 years. We raised 4 kids there. When we moved out to that part of Chester County, Pennsylvania, there were 2-lane roads, and there's like 6-lane roads, and it's just so busy. And sometimes you just feel like you want to get off the merry-go-round, so to speak. And so that's part of what drove us. And my wife had a pretty high, stressful job running a large daycare center for 15 years. And so she actually retired from her position last June, and that's what kind of started this whole thing going. When we weren't geographically tied to any one area, we started figuring out, well, what do we want to do? Originally she said, let's go on a big adventure, and we didn't know what that meant. Should we go live in the Caribbean, or ultimately we settled on doing this floating home situation.
If you want an adventure, just come hang out with me. You can help raise our 7 kids. I mean, we always need like shuttle service, diaper changes. Got to walk the dog. I mean, we'll keep you busy.
Well, I got the dog, but yeah, we actually had our 2 grandkids this weekend. And last night when Jessica, my daughter, came home, we're driving back to our marina. It was about 15 minutes. And I'm thinking, holy smokes, how old am I that I am exhausted after 2 days with an almost 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. It was brutal, especially on a boat. You got to be on high alert. You got to be watching the kids constantly. Sure. Can't take. And so we were both exhausted. So no, I'm gonna let you ride this one out, Wes.
Well, just yesterday, my wife and I were sitting out front with our 3-year-old, and she's 3, right? She's got to test the boundaries, and she's like, kind of walking away, like, no, don't leave the yard. I'm going to go see Ella, down the street. No, don't do it, She kept going, and we're like, don't do it. And she kind of stopped and kind of did some different things. And my wife just looked at me, and she's like, I'm too old to even get mad anymore. I'm like, amen. Like my dad always says, you know why you have kids when you're young? Because it takes work.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. But, well, that's awesome. So you made you credit the business your lifestyle, and I've been saying that to people. I just got back from Argentina. I went to see my son for a week, and it was very impromptu. He's been studying there, and about 4 months ago I started jiu-jitsu. So now basically every day I take 3 hours and just go to the gym, and get beat up, and I could work more, and make more money. But it's like, kind of like you. I look around, I see people just going crazy. I see people at every conference, attending every workshop, buying every course, joining every mastermind. But I don't see them making any progress.
Yeah.
How do you slap people out of the trance to focus on what really makes sense, right? How do you get them to decide? How do you get them to create your dream business and live your dream lifestyle?
Well, for one thing, I don't sugarcoat anything. And my clients know that. Sometimes they call it Jim's tough love. Like, if I think that's a harebrained idea, I'm just going to tell you it's a harebrained idea, right, and stop wasting your money on this, right? There's a big difference between activity and progress. And sometimes people get into this thing where, I'm just going to go to this seminar, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to buy this course, because they're looking for one more thing that's going to be the magic solution to their slow growth business. And in reality, they're seldom going to learn that. What I tell people is in the book, I call it a 3 a.m. holy crap moment. So at some point in your entrepreneurial journey, whether you're brand new or you could be 15 years into it, at some point you're going to be laying in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. You should be sound asleep, but your eyes are awake, looking at the dark ceiling, thinking, holy crap, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent. Holy crap, I haven't paid myself in 3 months and I own the dang business. Holy crap, I haven't got a new client. Holy crap. And you're going to have a lot of holy crap moments. And honestly, Wes, I know this about people. Most of the time, it's not for lack of a new strategy or a new widget or a new plugin on your WordPress site. It's because you're not doing something that you know you should be doing. And I speak from experience. That's what my book decides about. I pour out my inner guts in the book, talk about all the different things that I knew I should be doing at certain points that I wasn't doing because, frankly, I didn't want to do them, or I was scared to do them, or fear-based, this, that, and the other thing. And I share some of the stuff that I did to get over it. And when I started manning up, so to speak, and doing all these things that I knew other successful coaches were doing, guess what? My coaching business took off. And so, in reality, if somebody is a seminar junkie, and I was too, to be honest with you, so I speak from experience, but there was one point where I think I went like 6 or 7 different events, big events. And of course, there's the expense, there's the time away. And I'm always like, man, maybe I'll just meet somebody. And then I really had a chat with myself, and I said, listen, I know, first of all, you never want to say I know everything, because you're always a, constant learner. We're a student of life, all that. But the reality is, we entrepreneurs probably know most, I don't know what the percentage is, 89% of what we need to know to make our business successful. The question is, are you willing to do what you know you need to do?
Yep. So
anyway, that's my thought on that.
But it seems like we all make that mistake to one degree or another. And I've asked people too, and I got this idea in my head. I don't know if I'll write a book on it or not, but I'm always exploring it. I'm surprised how many people I've spoken to that had to hit rock bottom before they got their act together. I mean, bankruptcy and divorce, prison. I've interviewed 3 guys that have been in prison and have turned things around. Is there a way for us to turn things around before we actually hit rock bottom?
Rock bottom's not such a bad place if you don't stay there. I talk about my season of crisis. So I was out of work for 18 months or 15 months, and I had cancer. And we had lost our money. We got massive amounts of debt keeping the family afloat. So I know what it's like to be down there. My first year in business as an entrepreneur was revenue free. I know what it's like to be on the bottom. I don't want to go there again. So I continue to work as hard as I need to work to keep my lifestyle going. But, it's interesting, and you got a lot of kids, and I got 4 kids, and I sometimes see if I see one of my kids, maybe I think could have better choices, and I'm thinking, yeah, but it was my season of crises that made me a better man, right? And sometimes we need to go through crap. So one of the expressions I use is, if slow to no growth is no longer an acceptable option in your business, and for a lot of people, as long as you're paying the bills. And I know entrepreneurs, I'm sure you do too, Wes, that if either your husband or your wife or your significant other probably has a job while you're the entrepreneur, and therefore, if you're not growing your business and bringing in revenue, it's not like you're starving eating ramen noodles every night. Do you know what I mean? So There's usually the counterbalance to that. And it's not until you really have to get real with yourself. And that's really why I wrote the book Decide. I describe in the book, for example, my most embarrassing moment as an entrepreneur is in this high-level mastermind group with other coaches, because I really wanted to grow my coaching business faster than it was growing. And when I went out to California with these folks, I kind of felt like I was the least experienced, dumbest one in the group, and that's not necessarily a bad thing to do. But anyway, this one guy pulled me aside, and he had a multi-million-dollar coaching business, and he said, Jim, let me ask you a question. He goes, how is it that you want to attain the same level of success as a coach as the peers and, friends and people, maybe some people in this room, yet you're not willing to do some of the things that they have done and continue to do to this day to grow their business? How does that work? Can you explain that to me? And it was the most real moment. It was like, get the mirror in your face, right, moment for me. And that's when I had to get really serious about doing the things. I'm talking about speaking, writing a book, hosting your own live events, videos, doing all of that stuff that puts you out there. And when you put yourself out there, you can become prone to criticism and, things like that. And that's what prevents people from acting, is they don't want to face the fear of what if I make a fool of myself? And so that's if you look at a lot of people that are struggling, Wes, no doubt there's going to be something that's fear-based that's holding them back. It's not for lack of going to some seminar.
Yeah. How do we get over that fear?
Well, number one, probably the number one strategy, and so obviously fear being the 10,000-foot view is a lot of different fear. Perfectionism, that is certainly a fear, because that's I'm not going to launch this until I know it's 100% correct. Well, my first book took me a year to write. I launched it in 18 months because I took 6 months trying to make sure there wasn't any spelling or grammar, because darn it, my name was on the cover. What if that book got launched? What if it sold? And what if people found out what a terrible grasp of the English language I have? That's kind of some of the head trash. And I wrote my last 3 books in 60 days, and I just wrote this book in 5 weeks. And I know for a fact, because nobody's perfect, I know when I launch every book that I do now that there will be some mistakes in it. But the decision that I made, and this is something for your audience, you have to make a decision that you're going to choose to be judged on the value of the content, the information, and basically the value that you're putting out there, and not the imperfect way in which you do it. And so my imperfect book is helping more people than your perfect book, which you have yet to launch. And I don't mean you, just whoever's in that position, still not ready to write their book. So you got to make a decision. I know I'm imperfect. I know when I do videos, I mess up the English language and grammar and stuff. I don't care. I'm putting out information that I know is helping people. I fully embrace that I'm an imperfect person.
Well, that's good. And is it just do we just have to endure it? Do we have to go fall and realize, hey, the injury isn't that bad, and scars are cool stories, and just go?
Well, if people don't, I wouldn't suggest sitting around waiting to hit rock bottom, because, why go there? I am one who I believe you can purchase speed. You can absolutely purchase speed. You can speed up the growth of your business, and you do it by hiring a mentor or working in a mastermind group with an experienced leader. And because I do believe the shortest distance from point A to point B, or from where your business is now to where you want it to be, it's by connecting with somebody who's already done that before. It's interesting. We'll get in the car. Somebody will say, hey, meet me at, XYZ restaurant. We've never been there. So hey, Siri, where's this? I need directions. And we'll trust our little phone to get us from point A to point B. But we're not willing, as a business owner, to pay somebody to mentor us, to show us the shortcuts, to lead us down the path based on their proven track record. That's the number one way you can advance the growth of your business, is by connecting with a mentor or a coach who has done what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, but Jim, there's a lot of charlatans out there. A lot of people are phony baloney. Abraham Lincoln said you can't believe everything you see on the internet. So what if I hire the wrong coach?
Listen, it's 100% true, and that really gets my goat when I see somebody who's 19 saying, I'm $1 million life coach. Well, how do you know anything about life? Or I'll see somebody who's like having helped somebody create a 7-figure business, and the only thing they've ever done for themselves is have a paper route. I do believe there's an integrity issue there. But, speaking of the internet and Abraham Lincoln, the internet, all you have to do is type in the name of a product or somebody's name and add a comma and then use the word scam or something like that. And believe me, there is no hiding anymore. And so if and you can do research, there's a guy out there right now who's, I'm not going to name him, but he's like, Mr. Superstar business coach. He's never really had a business. He can recite and kind of regurgitate a lot of things that he's read in books and seminars and things like that. But for the most part, he's not had a business. Now, I don't begrudge anybody the opportunity to make a living, so I'm not going to call him out. But at some point, when you're paying someone for advice, how do I do this? How do I create multiple streams of revenue? You might want to have somebody. You might want to do a little bit of homework and make sure that person has actually done that for themselves.
Right. Yeah,
and it's super easy to do that, Wes. I mean, goodness, there's no hiding who you are, with the internet.
Yeah, and the reality is you may have to kiss a few frogs, right? I mean, I've hired some bad coaches. I've still learned. I wish that I gotten 10 or 20 times more value than what I got from them, but I still learned. And you can't let the risk of maybe hiring the wrong coach stop you from moving forward.
The other advice I would give you is if you're going to do that, if you're going to go down that road, then you need to put your ego in the closet, in the desk drawer, and lock it up. One of the turning points for me in my business is when I did get connected with these pretty successful folks. I made a decision that I couldn't care less that the thing that got me to higher gross and higher revenue, I didn't give a hoot that it was my idea. I just wanted to get there.
Yeah.
It was more important to me to pay down all the debt and create a nice life for myself. Then I don't care if I'm doing what somebody else told me to do. But a lot of people, when they start out, if I'm the entrepreneur, if I'm the business owner, I want it to be my idea. I want to say, hey, yep, I did that, right? And it's part of human nature, I guess. But eventually, that gets old.
Yeah. So why 7 books? That's a lot.
It is a lot. I remember my first 3 books were very strategic. Part of my, was early on, I branded myself the newsletter guru. So the first book was about newsletter marketing.
Yep.
Then I started broadening up a little bit. I wrote Stick Like Glue, which is about client retention. Then I wrote The Fastest Way to Higher Profits. Again, I'm kind of, if you look at the funnel, I started at the bottom at the pinpoint with the newsletters, and now then retention, and then profits, and then anyway, when I wrote Stop Waiting for It to Get Easier, Create Your Dream Business Now, I mean, I actually thought that was my best book. I had Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank write the foreword. I was like, man, I have arrived. This is nirvana. I'm done writing books. And then when I started doing my live events, there's a segment that I teach called Success, Money, and Mindset. And I talk a lot about some of the struggles that I went through. In fact, many of the struggles. Some of the mindset traps that I had where I had the debt and it was preventing me from moving forward. So I started sharing all of that. And at my second event, some folks started saying, you got to share this stuff with a bigger audience than that just comes to your event. And that's why ultimately I wrote Decide, the Ultimate Success Trigger. That was my 6th book. And in my home office, which I no longer have, I had 2 nice custom picture frames, 3 books in one standing vertically, and it fit right behind me. So when I'm doing video interviews, it looked good. So I was done writing books. And then I was actually inspired by the Spirit to write Just Say Yes this January. I was about 3 weeks out from my event in Orlando. And I was out walking the dog one morning, which I love when the sun's coming up, even if it is cold. And I got this message, bigger, bolder, faster. I said, oh, I like that. Bigger, bolder, faster. I'm going to teach that at Dream Business Academy. No, you too, Jim. Bigger, bolder, faster. You got to step up your game. And I just got the message, just say yes. And that really became the genesis for the book.
So how did you make the transition from just so you were doing newsletters, right? And you start coaching, and then you evolve into live events. I mean, that's you've kind of run the gamut. I mean, you have all your bases covered in that regard, but a lot of people struggle with doing events. Do you keep these very small? Are they big? How did you decide? Is it twice a year you do them?
I do it about every 8 months, so it's mostly twice a year the way it works out. Although last year, just the way the calendar ran, I only did one event. But yeah, so I did Orlando in February, and in September I'm doing Rhode Island. The following May I'll go to San Diego. So that's the next 3 I got planned out. And but I purposely keep them to about 50 people because I do a really deep dive, not only on my business, but some of the folks on my team. And I just I've spoken in front of hundreds of people, but I couldn't imagine doing the level of what I call pulling back the curtain on my business in front of that many people. I mean, I talk about, man, when I was borrowing money every Friday on a credit card and all this and that. And so I purposely keep it to about 50 people. The other thing which I learned as a result of that early decision was that everybody gets to know each other. And any speakers that I bring in, Wes, they're not allowed to pitch, and they have to sit in the audience. They're not allowed to sit over in the corner by the AV table or anything like that. So it becomes a real cohesive group. People get to know each other. People get up and share. Like if I'm sharing something really deep on the stage, somebody will raise their hand and share. So anyway, I keep it to about 50 people, and that's the way it works good for me.
Are they typically repeat customers, or are they
half and half?
Timers?
Half and half. So we had 50 people in Orlando, and I actually think 22 were repeats, and some of them just keep coming and coming and coming. And so the other, what would be the math there? 27 or 28 were new people.
Cool. So what's next? I mean, are you just more of the same, doing it from the boat?
Yeah, this is my plan. I'll be 59 in 3 weeks, and I plan to do this for another 4 years. We'll see how it shapes out. And then I'm sure I'll never retire because I am not born with the gene that lets me sit still for more than 3.5 seconds. So I'm sure if slowing down means coaching, a handful of people 1 or 2 days a week, I'll probably always do it because I really love what I do. I'm good at it, and I just take a lot of gratification helping somebody create their dream business. So I'll never stop doing it, but I'm getting to the point now where 3 or 4 years of doing what I'm doing now, and then again, we have no idea what we're going to do in 18 months. Right now, the first month, the way it's going, I think we both really dig this and like this, and we'll just figure out. Maybe we'll go on my wife wants to get a catamaran and maybe sail to the Caribbean, and once in a while put up the sail instead of just running the engines and stopping for diesel fuel, stuff like that.
Yeah, very cool though. That's people tell us, talking about downsizing, and it's like we have a 20-year-old down to a 3-year-old. We will never be able to downsize.
Wow. Holy smokes.
If my son, I was 27 when he was born. So if he starts having kids when I did, then my baby will only be 10.
Wow.
We'll still have 3 at home when grandkids start popping out. So I don't.
You're a professional father. That's what you are.
Oh, my gosh. No, my wife is a professional mother. I'm just kind of a goofball.
Yeah, there you go. All right. I'm with you there. That's me.
So, like on your coaching, how do you figure what somebody needs? Is it set, right? Is it like a long-term coaching? Is it up to the client, No,
I have 3 different programs. I have 3 different programs, Wes, and the first one and the second one are a 12-month commitment, and my highest level, which I call VIP, that's an 18-month commitment. With the VIP, instead of just direction and some other stuff, myself and my team, we actually do most of the heavy lifting to creating all the different pieces needed, from a website to the book to the info product to getting the podcast going everything. It's actually done for you, with you, but we do everything. So that's an 18-month ride. And it really depends on how fast you want to grow. I have people, most of the people, whether they come in at the entry level, midpoint, or do the VIP, most people are borrowing it, because they recognize that I just want to get there faster. And it's what I tell people, first of all, there's no guarantees. I cannot guarantee even a dime of income. It'd be immoral and unethical, but in reality, if it does work, long after we stop working together, your business should continue to fire on all cylinders unless you completely screw it up. So it's an initial investment, no matter what level you come in at, but you're also investing in continued growth and what I would consider long-term profitability.
Yeah. How do you know that they're in the right mindset? There's a lot of needy people out there, and like early on when I was doing private coaching and some of the done for you, done with you, I mean, it almost ruined my business because I found that I cared more about their success than they did. And my 3 a.m. moments were like that I was going to let this customer down, but then I finally realized, it's I can lead that horse to water, right? But I was doing the work, and but it took a while to toughen up and reach that. So how do you know that they're right?
Wow, this is some high-level stuff I'll share with you. So this is not for the audience. This is just me talking to you, Wes. Really, because I have a number of coaches in my coaching program, and one of the things I tell them, and I had this too, again, I was so concerned when I started coaching that this wasn't working or that wasn't working or these people aren't taking their calls and things like that. You know what? I got over that. And I tell people right from the stage, I say, listen, I am not your babysitter. I'm not going to keep track of your calls. I figure if you're going to make the investment in yourself to work with me, you better schedule your calls because I will not chase you. I've got too much to do to be hey, wait a minute, somebody didn't take their call in May. We better get them on the phone and figure out why.
Right.
I don't do that.
Yep.
And so I really weed out people, and I actually have a selection process. You can't register for my program. You can't go to a website and put in a credit card. You have to apply. We have to have a pretty good conversation, and I know several questions I can ask you, and I'll find out if you're a tire kicker or if you're somebody. And just last year I had somebody get through my initial radar defenses, but I let him go after 2 months because he was already talking about not honoring his commitment. And the way I look at it, even at my entry-level program, you get so much darn value that if you're going to quit after 6 months and you're going to basically have so much value that I've delivered for half the investment you've promised, then that's not somebody I choose to work with. So in 8 years or so, I've only had to do that twice. But I'm all about integrity, man. I will not work with people who do not honor their commitments.
Yeah. Amen. I know, because it's that tough love, right? It's like, I know what I'm giving. And if you're not going to apply, because I'm the same way. Like I have multiple people right now. I'll see them on Facebook or something. I'm like, oh man, we haven't talked in a while. It's like, but hey, they paid, and I know they got a ton of value because they were happy and they're giving me the feedback. So always.
You want to hear a quick story? This is my greatest. I'll call it a success story, but it's my greatest example of somebody who ultimately recognized value. So this was a person who has an indoor golf range, so with simulators and things like that. And he says, Jim, I am booked. He's in Pennsylvania, so it's climate. So in say November, December, January, February, March, he is busy. He said, I'm booked like 98% of the time. I can't even handle more traffic. Where I'm sucking wind is May, June, July, August, September, October. When it's nice out, people don't want to be indoors. I said, I know I can fix that. He goes, if you fix that, I'll join your program. I said, join your program and I'll fix it. So he joined my program. And I said, this is what you're going to do. You are going to you're going to get to know and do some little bit of research. You're going to get to know all the people, all of the businesses that are within, say, 8 to 10 miles of your facility. And through some great marketing, you're going to make it known that during those warmer months, you are going to promote lunch and 3 holes. And so people can pre-order lunch. I said, what do you got near your place? And he has everything from pizza to Mexican to hamburgers. I said, go get a relationship with those people and have them go to your website and just have them like book it online. Hey, Tuesday, I'm going to be there at 12:15. I want it for 45 minutes and I want a hamburger and Coke. So they show up in their work clothes. I don't propose their suit, whatever, but and air conditioning, because you can't go out and drive some balls for lunch and then go back because you'd be sweating, right? So they go to his facility. They have lunch. They swing around. They can, on this computer, they can pull up, Augusta or whatever they want, shoot 3 or 4 holes and go back to work. He did that and he sold it out.
Nice.
And you know how many calls he took with me after that? 2. I didn't talk to him the rest of the year. He said, I got what I need. Thank you. And he was upfront. This is what I needed. I can't believe you solved it. I said, I can't believe you got that for the lowest price. But that's somebody who understood the value of what it meant to be coached like that. I solved a major problem.
That's awesome. So, yeah, and you just can't sweat it. And I've had that. I've heard that of other coaches, and I've had that happen with me. I've had, current people that have time available. I say, you know what? I got what I needed. I'm good. I'm like, okay, call me if you ever need me. So that's all right.
And by the way, that's why if you start a coaching program or in any business that you have, you do not want to be the cheapest, because then it's always about the price, but you're also going to attract people who are going to be concerned. They want every last drop that they can get. Not that that's something you shouldn't expect, but when you work with a higher caliber of clientele, they want to know what they need to know to go do the job.
Yeah.
Like this guy said, I'm not concerned with taking, 10 more monthly calls with you. You fixed my problem. I'm good, Jim. Because I did follow up with him because I kind of we travel in some of the similar circles, and he said, Jim, I'm good, man. You fixed this. That's all I care about. I'm not going to be booking calls unless I get in trouble. I'll call you. And I said, cool. That's the kind of client you want to have. What's
your secret to social media? I've got your one sheet here, and you've got all the profiles. I mean, everything, Pinterest, Instagram. Do we need to be everywhere?
Yes.
Do you do this yourself? You have a team that helps you? Like, do you do some and a team helps with others?
Yes, Justin, yes. So I, for the most part, am on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And through my team and also some software, Meet Edgar and some other things. I'm on Twitter and all these other places. But I am the main driver, the originator of the stuff that you see on Facebook. You will not see a post from me about election or parties, political parties, or, the latest high-profile case or anything like that. The only thing you're going to see from me on social media are A, things that will help you in your business, B, things that might make you laugh, because I think laughter is very important, and C, just a little bit about what I'm doing personally, because I think people do like to connect with people personally. And I'm not saying I'll show you a picture of some gross wound I got on my leg like I saw the other day. I'm like, who wants to see that, right? But people do know Stephanie and my lifestyle. They know we love our grandkids. We travel. So I share some of that because we rescued 2 dogs now, and so they really dig that. Like this weekend, I get up and I'm still an early riser, even on when I'm not working. It's just habit. But now I go up and I sit on the bridge and I'm watching the sun come up. My dog came up. I snapped a picture. He got like 5 times the likes I got for sharing something brilliant about marketing. So those are the only 3 things. And right now I'm promoting my book, but hey, that falls under the category I'll help you with your business. Right. Those are the 3 things. And believe me, I see stuff that I'm like, oh, I just got to share my opinion. Well, first of all, who the hell cares what I think about that? And why do I want my news feed going back and forth with people who are so entrenched, nobody's listening, they're just screaming? That's not me. I don't want any parts of that.
Right. So how I'm kind of the same way. I see, like, I'll share a picture about jiu-jitsu and get 100 likes on Instagram within an hour, right? I can share my top secret formula for closing sales at a bazillion % higher margin and, get 3. So, I mean, is that just where people are?
Well, it's interesting because Facebook keeps changing the logarithm. I mean, a year ago, I could predict all the people, and I hardly see them anymore and say, well, did they not like me anymore? And then I'll post something like, hey, I just celebrated another year, as a survivor. Next thing I'll have like 180 likes. So people are seeing your stuff. I did a video, and it's called Stop Worrying About Being Liked. And the fact of the matter is people don't have to hit the like button. They don't have to comment to feel and appreciate what you're sharing. And so when they do see your stuff about jiu-jitsu, or they see me post in blue looking out at the sun, they will like that because it just warms their heart. But I don't worry about how many likes and how much feedback I'm getting anymore, because I know enough people are seeing my stuff that it's working. So, I'm not consumed with how many likes and smiley emojis I have.
Yeah, I do. I see people all the time. They're like, "Hey, I love your stuff," and I'll look at them and I'm like, "Can you comment maybe once a year so I know you're there?" Oh, yeah.
You know what, Wes? Though. But listen, I'm sorry you're the host, but I'm going to call you out. How many things do you see? And maybe, I don't know if your kids are ever all asleep at the one same time, but maybe some evening you're sitting there on your iPad and you see something and you go, that's interesting. And you just keep scrolling with your finger. You keep scrolling. Like, it's just, I think people are horribly time crunched right now. And it's got to be something that really moves you. And, pets, kids, things like that. People are more moved by that than business stuff. I know that for a fact.
Oh, for sure. And I've always coached people. I said, look, you have 24 hours in a day. And if you're doing it right, you're only working 8, which is 1/3 of the day. So 1/3 of your stuff should be about business. And the others should be about other stuff, to keep things in perspective. I see people, they'll be 100% business and they're wearing people out.
Yeah.
But I do try to at least give a like so they know that I've seen it, that I'm seeing what they're putting out there. Yeah, I may not always leave a comment, take the time to do that, but I do try to give a quick thumbs up. Like, hey, this is good stuff, keep going.
Yep.
But I mean, I'll see a lot of people, like literally, I'm like, I never see you engage at all. But it does let me know that there are a lot of lurkers. So it is important to stay visible, right? To help stay top of mind, so they do think about you when the time comes for what you need, for what you offer, so they know you can fulfill.
Yep, exactly.
All right, man. Parting words of wisdom. Our listeners they're on a boat with no internet connection. They can't take action right now. They're on a plane. They're jogging. What should they do as soon as they get to their desk, as soon as they can take action? As a result of listening to this, what do you want them to do to grow, to make their lives mo better?
Well, we're giving away free copies of, in fact, both books. We mentioned Decide. I'm still doing that, and also my latest book is currently in launch mode, and we'll mail you free copies of those books. We just ask for shipping and handling of $6.95. So if they want to do that, as far as parting words of wisdom, it's what I said before. Being busy is not being productive. You will earn significantly more income for who you are than what you do. So you've got to fix your brand. You've got to fix your message, and you've got to fix the way that you need to get in front of the right number of people. If what you do has real value, and you're not making a good income, then it means you're not in front of the right people, enough of them anyway. So you need to fix that. So that's it. That's my parting thoughts. And by the way, if anybody's curious, forget business. If you're just curious about what we're doing, and Stephanie and I were actually stunned over the 9 months that we were prepping and doing this, how many people have thought of doing something like this, or the land version, getting in an RV and taking off. And so we started a blog. It's called OurFloatingHome.com. OurFloatingHome.com. If you're curious what the boat looks like, we've done a video tour and different stuff. We actually posted videos. Steph was doing live stream as we're off the coast of New Jersey, and we shared a lot of our journey. But if you're just curious what that's about, it's not business. It's just it's our big adventure at OurFloatingHome.com.
Can you make one for 7 kids?
Yes. Yeah. My brother has a boat that's bigger than my old house. So yeah, you can do that. But I think you just want to find a way to get somebody to step in for a year for you, and then go on a smaller boat with just your wife.
Yeah, like we went to Hawaii 2 years ago, and it was double everything, right? 2 rooms, 2 cars. I mean, just
at least, yeah.
I knew I had a big family when we went out to dinner, just ourselves, and we got hit with that mandatory gratuity because you had 8 or more in your party. It's like, hey, come on, it's just my family.
I'm a family man here. Come on.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, well, we will link to that. I just pulled that link up. Our Floating Home. Link to your website, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram. We got it all. Well,
sounds good.
Jim Palmer, thanks for taking time out of your 3-hour tour to enlighten
This has been
our
a lot of
listeners.
fun. Yeah, thanks for the great chat, Wes, and thanks for not asking me what would you do on a desert island if you opened a book and what made you cry and who was your favorite record album in 1969. I love interviews like this. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh. And I'm I don't mind traveling, but I do like being home. So I'm going to wait for your event in San Diego. That's going to be May 2018.
That is. I don't have the dates for that one yet.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody's listening and it's Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island is September 27th, 28th, and 29th. We still got like 22 tickets left for that one. Then San Diego will be May. I just haven't nailed the dates down, but it will be May of 2018 for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, I might get out to Rhode Island. Well, my partner, he lives in Boston, but he's from Rhode Island. So,
oh my gosh, come visit your partner.
Maybe you'll get two of us.
That would be amazing. And one of you comes for the friend rate, so then you're really splitting it. You get a real good deal.
All right. I will look into it.
That'd be awesome, Wes. Be a pleasure to shake your hand.
Yeah, weather's still nice in September in Rhode Island, huh?
It is going to be nice, and we always do – because I do believe in having fun, working hard, have fun. So we end our event like 3 o'clock on Friday. The event runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I give people about 2-hour break, and then I usually charter a bus and do something fun.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, but what we did this time, we're going to take about a 20-minute, 25-minute ride to doggone Rhode Island. Where is it? Newport. Thank you. There's my wife. Help me out. Newport, Rhode Island. And we rented a 50-foot schooner ship, like one of those old double, triple-masted wooden boats. I'm assuring it's an old wooden boat that used plenty of that Flex Seal stuff, so it's gonna stay on top of the water. But yeah, so we're gonna go on a sunset cruise with some cocktails and stuff, and you should, definitely try and come. That'd be awesome.
All right, I will look into it. And I got your site pulled up here. I already see it. Create Your Dream Business Now. So everybody, I'm linked to that. GetJimPalmer.com, and you can see everything he's working on, his books, this event. And I thank you for coming on the Sales Podcast, man. It's been great.
Thanks, Wes. Have a good afternoon.
All right, man. You too. 16 years in business, and the first 8 to 10 were tough. How many people would admit that, huh? I've always said anything worth doing is worth doing poorly, right? It takes a while to master what it is that you love, and so you can be good at what you love. You hear me talking about jiu-jitsu, and I'm bruised up, beat up, but heck, I went 6 days last week. All of them included extra rolls, after the normal session. This week, I'm going to go 5 days out of 6. Schedule just didn't permit one. But, they only recommend 2 to 3 a week, and I'm going 5 to 6 with extras, so it's like 7 or 8. But I love it, right? And I'm bad at it. Now, compared to a rookie that comes in totally untrained, I'm pretty dang good. But to everybody else, I'm bad. But it's constantly evolving. Everybody's getting better, in the class. So you always have tough competition, but, steel sharpens steel. And Jim, he's had good people around him. He loved it enough that he stuck with it. He talks about having this new definition of success, right? Freedom is greater than stuff. Amen. You see that all around you. I mean, people that are trapped by their stuff, people that are trapped by their businesses. Michael Gerber talked about the E-myth. Do you own a business or does the business own you? So you need to get some clarity. You need to understand what it is you're really going after. Create your goals. When do you want to work? He talks about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I typically do my podcast interviews on Mondays. I have time on my schedule. Go to daily mass. I have time for jiu-jitsu 2 to almost 3 hours, middle of the day. So, yes, I could make more money, but I want the freedom right now. And so I'm defining success on my own terms. And are you doing the same? We see all these people with, pictures of their jets and Rolls Royce and stuff. And maybe some of them have those. Maybe they're renting them. Maybe they're just there for the photo op. I don't know. I know that a lot of them are fake. But even those that are real, is that how you define success? People always say, I do it for my children. I do it for my family. And it's like BS. I see you at the conferences. I see how you're acting and conducting yourself. That is not for your family. You're doing it for you. So be careful who you follow. Be careful who you admire and look up to. Things are not what they always appear. Okay, you have to define what success is for you. And whether that's taking singing lessons or traveling more or working from home, not having to commute. Maybe it's your spouse being able to quit their job. Maybe it's driving the kids to school, coaching Little League, whatever. You define it and then go live it. And everybody else can go pound sand. Okay, everybody that doesn't agree, quote unquote, agree. It's like people, when they with my kids, oh, you have 7 kids? You know how much college costs? I'm like, yes, I do know how much college costs, and I don't think I was asking you for a loan. So people want to get all up in your business when it comes to kids. So don't let people, if they're not willing to die for you, don't let them live for you. You set the tone, you set the stage, you set the table. Right? You make the bed, you sleep in it, whatever, story you want to tell. But you got to live it, right? Set it, aim for it. Harvey Pinnock, the golf coach in Austin, Little Red Book of Golfing. It's a really great book. But, he talked about taking dead aim. Too many of us let too much noise creep in, blur our vision. Take dead aim, all right? That's where the Dig Deep coaching can help you if it's right for you. But digdeep.today. At a minimum, you'll get some one-on-one time with me to get some clarity. And if you need more than that session, we'll go into the 90-day program, and I'll explain that during our one-on-one time. All right? Dig Deep today. Thanks for listening. Please leave a 5-star review. Tell the world. And as always, remember to sell different.